Brunson. They made up this phony charge that he's a spy, and he's not a spy. He's going through a trial right now, if you call it a trial. They should have given him back a long time ago. And Turkey has, in my opinion, acted very, very badly.
President Trump threatening more sanctions on Turkey, saying the U.S. would not tolerate the mistreatment of Pastor Brunson. Retired General Jack Keane is here to tell us what could happen next. General, you know, what strikes me when I hear these stories is that Turkey's supposed to be our ally, and they're a member of NATO. It seems like we've gotten a long way from there. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, Turkey is an important part of NATO, to be sure. You know, they sit at the confluence of Europe and the Middle East. They're probably the most strategically placed country in NATO, and also they have the second largest army, by far much larger than any other European army, and I mean military, not just army, and the United States obviously has the largest. But you're absolutely right, Melissa. This has been going on now for a couple of years, this strained relationship. When the coup took place against Erdogan in 2016, he was really frustrated that the United States and not a single NATO nation came out to support him, to provide moral support for him as he was going through that. And it's because he's become an authoritarian leader, and he's taken away democratic values, and the United States and Europe certainly doesn't appreciate the direction that they're moving in. Yeah, relations with Turkey are at an all-time low.
Yeah. So what needs to happen from here? Because, you know, the way you describe it, it does sound like, so it's NATO. We're supposed to be defending each other at the same time he has taken that big shift. I don't know. Where do we go from here?
Well, I think the president's doing the right thing. You know what? It's a little tug of war here for sure. I mean, they put a United States citizen who's residing in Turkey in their jailhouse, Pastor Brunson, because we have a Turkish citizen residing in Pennsylvania who Erdogan believes was the inspirational leader of the coup, a fellow by the name of Fethullah Gulen. And he wants him back. And we're not giving him back because we have no evidence to the claim that he was a participant in that coup. So that's where this tug of war is. So I really think that what'll happen here, because Erdogan's economy is spiraling out of control. They have major problems, and if we increase tariffs as we're doing, and we increase sanctions as we're doing, that's going to exacerbate the situation. And I'm confident the president's willing to throttle back on all of that to get Pastor Brunson out of there and get back to a better relationship. But the relationship is, even after Pastor Brunson comes home, and he will come home, this relationship is still going to be strained.
Yeah. Shifting gears before we run out of time, I want to ask you about the Pentagon that is reporting to Congress that China is likely training its pilots for strikes against the U.S. and its allies in the Pacific. I mean, what do you make of this development in general?
Well, you know, the United States national security strategy that President Trump signed at the end of December of his first year, and the National Defense Strategy both identify China as the long-term strategic threat to U.S. national interest. China's goals, and they are building, they have the most significant rapid military buildup of any country, to include the United States, in the world today. They clearly want to become a global military power. They want to dominate and control the Asia-Pacific. And they're well on their way to doing it, to be frank about it, Melissa.
Yeah.
And secondly, they want to replace the United States as the preeminent global power in the world today. So they are increasing their fighters. They're increasing their bombers. They're increasing their maritime ships. They're opening up ports and bases like the United States has around the world. They are clearly on the move. And the economic engine that they have, and the capital investments that they're making. I just came back from Southeast Asia, and what those leaders there were telling me is that the United States is behind, way behind China in terms of the capital economic investments that they're making. And a lot of that has to do with the last 8 years and the United States being disengaged, and they want us to kind of catch up.